Zoe TV.
The blue fish-shaped ticket felt cool in Zoe's hand. The door slid open and cool, bluish air brushed his face. Inside, the light was alive, shimmering and rippling across the walls like he had stepped under a giant moving wave. The first thing Zoe saw was a towering glass wall. Wow! Behind it, hundreds of silver fish darted together in perfect waves. They twisted left, every fish turned left. They whipped right, every fish turned right. They moved like one giant, glittering ribbon. Zoe pressed his palm to the glass.
Oh my God!
The fish swept past in a flash of moonlight. The path curved into a green, forest-like room. A turtle with a shell patterned like a map basked under warm light, blinking slowly. On a leaf, a small green frog sat perfectly still. Its throat puffed out like a tiny balloon, then shrank again. Then, suddenly, water was above him. A tunnel of glass wrapped around his path. A small sand shark slid by with steady, quiet eyes. Silver bubbles climbed to the surface like strings of pearls. On the sandy bottom below, a crab scuttled sideways, then shuffled into a rocky hole. Around the next bend, the room glowed purple and blue. Jellyfish drifted in their tall glass homes. Long threads trailed softly behind them. They looked like living lanterns floating in the dark. Next came a reef bursting with color. Yellow fish as bright as lemons darted between coral towers. Blue fish shimmered like bits of sky. Orange fish glowed like tiny suns. A clownfish peeked out from the soft swaying arms of a sea anemone. Zoe leaned close to see tiny coral branches, each one alive. They weren't plants, they were tiny animals, building stone homes together. On the sandy floor, a goby fish hovered at the mouth of a tunnel while a little shrimp worked, scooping sand away. Zoe grinned. They were the smallest builders and guards he'd ever seen. The air turned warmer in the river life hall. Leaves floated on the water's surface, thick roots dangled down like ropes. A long, spotted garfish hovered straight and still, its nose like a spear. A turtle paddled lazily past, legs moving like slow oars. On one wall, Zoe saw a picture of a fish ladder, steps of flowing water that helped fish leap past big dams. He imagined them jumping, one splash at a time, until they reached their home. Further on, voices hummed around a shallow touch pool. Sea stars, shaped like red and orange cookies, lay on the bottom. A guide smiled and showed how to touch with just 2 gentle fingers. Zoe's fingertips met the cool water, then the bumpy top of a starfish. Grainy like sand pressed into soft clay. Water dripped from his hand in thin silver threads. In the dim seagrass room, a leafy sea dragon floated among green fronds, its frilly body blending in perfectly. Nearby, a tiny seahorse clung to a strand of grass with its tail. Its whole body was the shape of a question mark, and Zoe could just see its heart beating in its see-through skin.
Beautiful!
The wide ocean window came next, a glass wall so big it felt like looking into another world. Rays glided in lazy circles. Black-tipped reef sharks cruised past with smooth, powerful tails. From somewhere behind the glass, a diver swam into view and waved. Streams of silver bubbles rose from their mask like a waterfall turned upside down. In the floor, a round glass porthole showed garden eels poking up from sandy holes. They swayed like tall grass in the current, each keeping half its body tucked below. When a shadow passed, they zipped down in a blink, then slowly rose again when it was safe. Another tank glowed golden. Fat, slow fish drifted in the gentle current. A turtle floated to the surface for a sip of air, then sank down to nibble on green plants. A big catfish swept its long whiskers across the sand, searching for a snack. Near the end, a small science lab peeked through a window. People wearing white coats measured the water with glass tubes. Numbers glowed on screens: pH, temperature, salinity, the secret recipe for making the tanks feel like home for their fish. Another display showed tiny fish eggs under a microscope, small clear beads with tiny dots inside. A video nearby showed divers planting coral pieces back into the ocean, bit by bit growing new reefs. Just before the exit, Zoe found a tall round tank swirling with fish in brilliant colors: bright yellow, deep blue, fiery red, shining silver.
Look at that!
In the center, a column of bubbles climbed straight to the surface, each one racing the others to the top. But it was the final window that made Zoe stop.
That is unbelievable!
The water was soft pink and deep blue, and a single moon jelly floated there. Its bell bloomed, then shrank, then bloomed again, slow and steady. When he stepped back outside, the sun was bright and warm. But in his eyes was the silver dance of fish ribbons, the purple glow of jellyfish lanterns, and the tiny, steady heartbeat of a seahorse. The ocean was still moving in him, cool and wide and alive.
See you tomorrow!